Hi, this is Henry Winkler.
Hi, this is David K. Harbour.
Hey, Debbie Gibson here.
Hi, this is Chaz Palminteri, and you're listening to Marta on the Move. You better listen.
I'm your host, Marta Mazzoni. Join us as we connect culturally through lifestyle, travel, and entertainment. Hey guys, welcome back to Marta on the Move podcast. Just a quick telling of this episode. This is a lifestyle episode. I'm on the track of lifestyle and self-discovery, so I kind of bounce back and forth between travel, entertainment, lifestyle, just basically a little jitney on the road to life and my curiosity, and I love it. So today's episode specifically talks about a subject that anybody that gets in a room with me, that we end up going deep into conversation about the way their life is going, or the way that people around them are treating them, or just a situation that they find themselves in, usually after a couple drinks. I will always refer to this one thing that I personally believe in, that I personally, you hear those things, maybe you read a book and a light switch goes off, and that doesn't happen very often, right? We read a lot of information out there, but we don't digest it. It doesn't resonate with us to make it a real change in our life. And this book, and one of the messages of this one book that a friend of mine recommended, and I can't thank her enough, my friend Mia Lamonica. I had her on the podcast, and I really think that kind of really opened up my podcast. I've been on a journey of lifestyle and wellness and self-discovery for ever, but when she got cancer, that really put it in perspective, that I wanted to talk more about this. I wanted to help more people that would be interested in wellness, interested in health, in lifestyle, and connecting through that. And I had Mia on the show because she got cancer when she was so young, and I wanted people to understand what she was going through and how hard that was, of what she was going through. Didn't expect it, what others would need to know about things like that, because I feel like, cancer touches everyone. Everybody knows someone with it. I do. So I know a lot of people. And just opening up the book on that and removing the stigma of talking about it. And she suggested this book, and I immediately got it. And it's called The Dance of Anger. And this book is wonderful. So it's written by Harriet Lerner, and it's called The Dance of Anger, A Woman's Guide to Changing the Patterns of Intimate Relationships. So this podcast is specifically for people that are looking at their intimate relationships that they have with a friend or family, their husband, their children, and how they can change patterns that aren't serving them. Basically, what it boils down to is, how do you change other people? You can't, right? I mean, that's like an age-old saying. You can't change other people. You just can't. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. you can. You really can. And this book opened this up for me, this concept that, you get me in a room of people and we start talking about change, and how this person, you hear a story and it's like, my husband won't ever change, and he's never going to do this, and he's never going to do that, and he's always going to be guilting me into things, and he's going to be manipulative, and he's going to treat me like this, and da 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 da. You can change that person. And what it boils down to, and I highly recommend you read the book, but this is what I took from the book that resonated with me, that I have personally accepted into my life and have seen a change in the people around me in relation to this. I have tested it. I'm always into testing things out on myself, and I'm into self-discovery and trying to be a better person. And this has helped. And what it is pay attention. is you can't change someone else. You can only change yourself. But when you do that, when you change yourself, other people that are close to you are forced to react to it. Therefore, they have to change. Does that make sense? I'm going to say it again. You can't change other people. You can only change yourself. And when you change yourself, those other people are forced to change because they have to react to it. I'm going to break this apart real quick. So, the idea of changing yourself is changing a habit or a pattern that those people in your intimate relationships are used to you doing. Do you guys get this? Are you getting it? I hope so, because this like blew my mind years ago when I read this. It's you changing something that you have done consistently. Maybe it's a way of talking. Maybe it's an action. So for example, let's use a husband and wife relationship. Let's just rock that. Okay? Actually, no. We'll scrap that one. We'll do that one next. Let's just use like a mother-daughter relationship or something like that, or a mother-father or daughter-father relationship, son-father relationship. You go out with your father or your mother, and every single time it's just a toxic pattern of repetition. They're never going to you want them to change, but they're never going to change. They talk about the same things over and over and over again, and all you want for them is to change because you see how it's hurting them, how they're in a destructive circle. And they just keep circling their wheels. They keep circling their wheels, doing the same things, talking about the same things, and it just creates this like toxicity that will negatively affect you, because that's what happens when they put it out there. They're going to put it out there and they're constantly talking about it. And you just go along with it. You've just constantly gone along with it. You've constantly been their ear, right? And you've probably been this person. You've been their ear for them to dump on. And you offer advice and you offer suggestions and you say, oh, well, why don't you just do this? I don't understand. If you just did this, you want them to change. And they don't do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to change because they don't know how. They need something to break the pattern in order for them to change. So here's what you do. You tell them you don't want to hear about it anymore. You literally say, you know what? I don't want to hear about that anymore. I don't want to talk about that specific subject anymore. Or you break it up and you say, you know what? I know you were talking about this, but tell me something positive that's going on in your life. Or you just don't meet with them for a while. It's that will cause a change in the person's behavior because they're not used to it. It's breaking a pattern. It's breaking a cycle that they are, we are humans. We get in these patterns, right? I mean, we do. And I am not in a part of that. I have that too. I have patterns that I've noticed that are considered negative, and I know when I get in them. But the thing about it is I won't see them unless someone else directly changes, and that affects me. It's kind of like that ripple effect. I can't believe oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking about the ripple effect. True story. I totally got suspended in high school for being drunk on campus. It was a thing. I was like 16, whatever. It was a whole story. And I remember sitting down. It's so funny how this all comes full circle, but I remember sitting down in the principal's office of Mr. Hauser at the time, and he had just told me I had like a 10-day school suspension. I really was a good kid. I was just wrong place, wrong time, just saying. And he goes into this story about the ripple effect. And at the time, I'm sitting there and I didn't want to hear about this ripple effect. I was just thinking about, oh my God, what are my parents going to say? Oh my God, what is Miss Kennedy going to say? You know, I'm in the musical. What's going to happen? Oh my God, chorus. What's Miss Cole going to say? I'm freaking out. And here he is, this guy, he's probably my age at that time. That's crazy to think about. Oof, mind blowing. But he's talking about the ripple effect and how the decision that I made has an effect on everything around it. And here I am, almost 40, talking about the ripple effect. Sorry, I just needed to have a moment with that real quick. Anyways, I digress. I really was a good kid in high school. Just whatever. I need to go back to it. Back to the fact that you can change people by changing yourself. Taking for example, a husband and wife situation. Maybe you're the husband and your wife is like not doing what you want. Like not doing what you want, but like doing something toxic for herself. Like having this toxic pattern that she's in. Maybe she has a friend that you guys both hang out with, and that friend is toxic to her, and she just won't exit the relationship, and she just keeps ramping on and on and on about it. Or maybe she has a habit that she does that is bad for her. For example, okay, this is a perfect example. If you're a mom and your kid has a habit of overeating, if you keep stocking the fridge with bad food, they're going to keep overeating it. They're not going to change just by you being like, well, don't eat that. But you eliminating that and changing a pattern, maybe you take all of that out of the kitchen, they are forced to change. Sorry, I'm just trying to come up with like ideas and suggestions for you, little stories so you can relate to this. And maybe you already do. You're like, Marta, I get it. But it's so true. So for people out there that are listening that this resonates with, think of her after this podcast. Seriously, like sit down and think of a person in your life, someone that's intimate to you, one of your intimate relationships. Maybe it's a friend who's just, brings you down. Every time you go out with them, it's just me, and I, and da, da, da. Maybe it's that person. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's your dad. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's your brother. Maybe it's your sister. Maybe it's your child. Sit down and write down on a piece of paper how they make you feel after you leave them. That is a signal to know, if somebody in your life is like, you're trying to change something, they make you feel kind of like less than or toxic, or you feel drained. They might be an energy vampire. I'm all about calling people energy vampires. That's a thing. Write it down on a piece of paper, and then write down a pattern that they do. Something that they do that you want them to change in their life. Just write it down. Maybe you want your mom to take a yoga class, or maybe, you want your dad to be more open and more, more open to self-discovery, like try new things, and you're always telling him to try new things. Write that down. But then next to that, write down something that you can do to change your pattern and how it might affect them. So for example, if you want your dad to be more open, you want him to be more exploratory, you want him to be whatever, instead of telling him to do it, maybe you take him out. Maybe you open that door for him, and you have changed a pattern, rather from you badgering him to do it to opening up. It's just one suggestion. There are millions out there. And if you need to, I just want to read this quote. This book is specifically geared toward women, but I do feel like this applies to everybody. I really do. I feel like it applies to all relationships, all of this stuff. Here's a quote from the book. Quote, "We cannot make another person change his or her steps to an old dance. But if we change our own steps, the dance no longer can continue in the same predictable pattern." I'm going to repeat that because that right there says it all. We cannot make another person change his or her steps to an old dance, but if we change our own steps, the dance no longer can continue in the same predictable pattern. I love that. That's just relatable, so that it's, you digest it, you absorb it. I hope this helps someone the way that it has helped me. Like, truly, I think this is a wonderful book. I say pick it up right away. It's a great read. I think I did it on audiobook, but I would read it. It's great. So, Harriet Lerner, The Dance of Anger, A Woman's Guide to Changing the Patterns of Intimate Relationships. Thank you, Harriet Lerner. And thank you, Mia Lamonica, for bringing this into my life, this idea. It's wonderful. That's all, folks. That's all I got. I hope this helps somebody. Reminder, if you are into self-discovery and you are into total body connection, I have my wellness course coming up. It launches the first course January 10th, 2001. A better year than 2020. And what that's going to be is a 3-week course designed to break patterns and forge new habits and get in touch with your intuition and go deeper. If you're somebody that wants to control their cravings are out of control. Somebody that's foggy, somebody, that's lacking in creativity or uninspired, or, off their workout game, their movement game, or they're in pain and they want to move with mobility and forge healthy habits, or you just need a reset. This is for you. This is a course I've been working on for a really long time, and you can find more information at 3tobemejourney.com. For the first course, it's super special because I will be alongside y'all on your journey. I'm going to be partaking in it too. There'll be live weekly accountability. Everybody needs an accountability partner. I want to be yours for this first launch. It's super special. I hope you join. 3tobejourney, 3tobemejourney.com. Check it out, or you can find more information at martaonthemove.com, Twitter at I Can't Find Marta. Keep it moving, everybody.